rebellion in Zanzibar. February 4, 1872, Stone Town falls, Parliament dispatches relief force. Whitehall, March 3, alarming reports have reached London from the East African Crown colony of Zanzibar, where native forces have seized control of Stone Town, the island capital. The uprising, believed to be led by tribal factions emboldened by foreign provocateurs, erupted late last month and culminated in a swift and brutal assault on colonial garrisons. Sources within the Colonial Office confirm that the British resident and numerous European officials narrowly escaped harm, retreating under cover of night to awaiting merchant vessels now anchored offshore. Civil order has wholly collapsed, with rioters reportedly plundering storehouses, disabling port infrastructure, and hoisting native banners above government buildings. Emergency measures in Westminster. During an extraordinary late-night sitting of Parliament, the Prime Minister and Colonial Secretary resolved upon immediate military intervention. A composite expeditionary force, drawn from Her Majesty's elite formations, is to embark within the week. The relief column will comprise Royal Marine Light Infantry Brigade, veterans of the South Africa Campaign, the Guards Division, including battalions of the Coldstream, Grenadier, and Scots Guards. Commanding the expedition is Brigadier Sir Roland Hargreaves, age 48. Known for his uncompromising battlefield tactics and formidable physique, Hargreaves has garnered a reputation for decisive, if costly, engagements. Zanzibar shall not fall quietly, Hargreaves was heard to declare at the War Office, his voice thunderous and resolve apparent. With his steely eyes, square jaw, and thick black beard, the brigadier cuts an imposing figure. Troops under his command speak of his unwavering leadership, though critics within the War Office caution that his aggressive doctrines may risk high casualties. The Admiralty has begun provisioning transport ships at Plymouth and Portsmouth, including, but not yet completed, Adelaide-class transports, praised for their speed and protected design. Within months, the first wave of the relief effort will set sail for East Africa aboard HMS Adelaide and HMS Victoria. The strategic significance of Zanzibar, both as a maritime hub and as a gateway to the interior of the continent, renders this rebellion a grave challenge to imperial authority. Should Stone Town remain under rebel control, broader destabilization across East Africa may ensue. The nation watches as Brigadier Hargreaves prepares to restore order by bayonet and boot. For the Empire Times. Edwin Bellamy, Colonial Affairs Correspondent.
Transports underway. February 12, 1872. Adelaide-class vessels herald a new era in Royal Navy transport. Portsmouth Dockyard, February 10. The Admiralty has announced the completion and formal commissioning of two formidable new transport vessels to bolster the Royal Navy's logistics and personnel mobility. Built to the newly designated Adelaide class, these ships promise marked improvements in speed, protection, and utility over their predecessors. The lead vessel, christened HMS Adelaide, embodies the most advanced features now being adopted for maritime transport. Constructed with protected hull plating and propelled by a single-screw engine, the Adelaide achieves a remarkable top speed of 27 knots, making her one of the swiftest transports in service. The vessel's modest dimensions, length 12, beam 3, height 1, coupled with an efficient internal layout, allow her to operate with a total crew of 14, comprising bridge officers, gun crews, sailors, and engineers, or black gang. The vessels are lightly armed with a 15-pounder medium gun, offering modest defensive capabilities should hostilities arise during transit. Although Marines are not permanently stationed aboard, provisions exist for temporary boarding should a military complement be required. The Adelaide class reflects the Admiralty's shift toward versatile wooden construction with optional armored protection, a pragmatic compromise between cost and survivability. While a purely wooden hull without armament would have cost as little as £2,800, the Admiralty wisely opted for the protected build with artillery, a preferable choice, both strategically and operationally. Naval insiders report that more vessels of the class may be commissioned before year's end, marking a quiet revolution in how Britannia moves her men and material across imperial waters. Horace Fenimore, Maritime Correspondent.
Unrest continues. February 7, 1872. Religious unrest in Egypt persists, fanned by discontented veterans of the old army. British authorities report sporadic disturbances in Luxor and Asiut, with sermons echoing nationalist themes. Increased patrols and discreet arrests are underway. While Cairo remains calm, intelligence sources warn that unrest could spread further if not addressed with both tact and firm resolve. From the Cairo desk in Upper Egypt.
Murder most foul. February 18, 1872. Tragedy in the Transvaal, envoy slain, rebellion brews in the Cape. Cape Town, February 12. Grave tidings have reached the imperial government this week from southern Africa. The British envoy to the Boer republics, Sir Walter Henley, has reportedly perished under violent and suspicious circumstances near Pretoria, the capital of the South African Republic. Sir Walter, a seasoned diplomat with prior service in Burma and Bengal, had journeyed north from Cape Town in early January with a mandate to broker trade revisions and quell long-standing tensions concerning frontier settlement and native rights. His convoy was reportedly ambushed en route to Pretoria under unclear conditions, though early accounts suggest Boer irregulars may have been involved. Diplomatic efforts in ruin. The Colonial Office confirmed the death in a sombre address to Parliament on the 15th. Foreign Secretary, Lord Grantham, lamented the failure of peaceful overtures and warned that the incident could provoke widespread unrest among loyalist and native populations. "It is an affront not only to diplomacy, but to the honour of the Crown," declared Lord Grantham. "Measures must be taken. Militia raised, tensions escalate." Across the Cape Colony, local garrisons have been placed on high alert. Colonial administrators in Port Elizabeth and King Williamstown have reported the emergence of Boer-aligned rebel musters, some allegedly numbering into the hundreds and bearing arms previously stowed from prior engagements. Militia companies loyal to the Crown have begun fortifying key positions along the Orange River frontier and interior passes near Graaf Reinet. The first colonial horse, already stretched thin by prior tribal disturbances, are expected to receive reinforcements from British regulars currently across the Cape. Civil unrest has also spread among native tribes, many of whom viewed Sir Walter's mission as a bulwark against Boer encroachments. In the wake of his death, tribal chiefs from Basutoland and the Transkei have reportedly withdrawn from negotiations and may adopt a more militant stance if hostilities erupt. While no formal declaration has yet been issued, sources within Horse Guards believe that contingency plans are underway. With the spectre of rebellion looming, and Cape Town gripped by uncertainty, the death of Sir Walter Henley may prove a tragic catalyst for a broader conflict on the continent's southern horn. The new general officer commanding is yet to make comment. Clark Hollingsworth, foreign correspondent.
Anarchists. Suspect identified, anarchist ties emerge in attack on Count Alvins Lieben. Further investigations into last week's alarming incident have revealed the alleged perpetrator as one Mr. Johannes Kraus, a foreign-born radical believed to be associated with a circle of continental anarchists known to operate in Whitechapel and Soho. A warrant has been issued for Kraus's apprehension. Scotland Yard detectives, led by Inspector Reginald Spence, discovered pamphlets extolling violence against monarchs and diplomatic envoys within a rented room on Church Street said to be used by Kraus. Amongst the papers was an annotated map of London with embassies and royal residences marked in red ink, suggesting a premeditated plan of terror. In a public address delivered yesterday from the steps of the Foreign Office, Lord Granville, Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, condemned the attack as a dastardly affront to the dignity of diplomacy and the peace between nations. Ambassador von Alvins Lieben remains in secure lodging and has expressed his gratitude for the swift efforts of British authorities.
Retreat from edge. Adriatic withdrawal, a timely return to imperial priorities. As reports confirm the easing of tensions in the Balkan theatre, the redeployment of Her Majesty's fleet from the Adriatic marks not only a tactical recalibration but a triumph of diplomacy and restraint. For months, Britain held steady amid a swirl of nationalist agitation and ecclesiastical crusading, offering presence without provocation. The Admiralty's decision to scale back patrols comes as a welcome signal. Europe has not yet drifted beyond the reach of reason. King Victor Emmanuel's restraint, the Vatican's cooling fervor, and cooperative overtures from both Vienna and Constantinople have made clear that conflict, though possible, is not inevitable. That the Royal Navy may now resume its global duties is an affirmation of our empire's agility. Across Africa's western coast and in the settlements of southern Asia, the call for maritime vigilance grows stronger. Supplies, stability, and deterrence must now be our primary concerns. The Navy, once stretched thin by Balkan uncertainty, may again serve where it is most urgently required. Let Europe take note, firmness without folly remains Britain's best armour. Editor's comment.